This was 3 weeks ago. I just woke up, it's 3 p.m. and I'm pissed. Not at anyone else. It's not that my parents told me something or my sister's done something to piss me off again. I'm pissed at myself. I told myself that I'd wake up at 6 a.m. You know, I'd have that super productive morning routine where I'll work fasted, I'll do my meditation and then I'll start getting to work. But here I was, it's more than halfway into the day and I'm just getting out of bed. So I'm thinking that, okay, I've wasted half the day already, but let's not waste even more of it. So I get up, I sit at my desk and I start working straight away. I open up Premiere. I know exactly which project I need to work on and I set myself a 90-minute timer to start working. Now I'm 5 minutes into my work session. I'm looking around the footage. I still haven't cut it up yet, but I'm just getting used to the footage. I've done a few cuts here and there. Now 10 minutes have passed, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I set that timer for 1.5 hours. An hour has passed and I've barely even started cutting the video. Because in that time, all I've been doing is fighting the urge to go on Twitter, to go on Discord, and that was a battle that I was losing. There's 30 minutes left on the clock, but honestly, I'm not getting shit done. I know I'm still going to be distracted. Maybe I need a break. I'm a little burnt out. That's what I'm telling myself. So I get up, I grab my coat, I grab my shoes, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and I head out of the house. I'm thinking that, you know what, let me go outside, let me socialize with some people, let me go to a cafe, you know, just being around people, I feel like I'd be re-energized to come back home and work again. I'm walking towards the shopping mall. I've got all these amazing visualizations in my head. I'm imagining the great conversations I'm about to have, the eye contact I'm going to hold, how confident I'm going to be when I walk in there. I reach the mall, I go inside, I'm walking, and something feels off. I'm trying to make eye contact with people and they just don't seem to reciprocate. I'm thinking like, no worries, not everyone will make eye contact. That's the society we live in. But it felt as though every single person was cold towards me. It's not like they said anything outright. It's not like someone fucking came to me and like said, shut the fuck up, why are you looking at me? Like, they didn't attack me or anything, but it just felt as though I was trying to connect with people, or I would like look someone's way and they wouldn't. And this might sound autistic that I'm even bringing this up, but for the last year or two, I've really been working on my social skills. And I've gotten to a point where me making eye contact with someone is extremely normal now. So I'm walking around, I go to a cafe, the same feeling again. It feels like nothing's going right, and honestly I felt worse coming back home than I actually did when I was going there. And do you know how bad an experience like that got to fuck me up? For me to start journaling about why I felt that bad. Maybe a few years ago when I was 15, 16 years old, I was like the typical like depressed gamer where I'd stay in my house all day. I would feel like that when I went out, but for the last few years I haven't had a moment like this. So why do I suddenly feel so shit? I asked myself that question in my journal and I started writing and 10-15 minutes in, I'm coming to the conclusion that it's because I wasn't confident. That sounds like an obvious answer, but then I asked the question, what even is confidence? I'm realizing that up to this point in my life, I had never defined confidence. I would love to say that I'm a confident guy. I would love to say that I'm disciplined. I would love to say I have all these amazing traits, but when it comes to confidence, I realize I've never actually defined it. Oh, it's loud. There's quiet people who have like a quiet like sense of confidence, right? It's not that you're boasting, because there's people who are confident and also humble. So what even is confidence? The conclusion that I came down to was that confidence is knowing that you are who you say you are. It's knowing that when you tell someone something, when you give yourself a trait, you know deep down that you are that person behind closed doors. Imagine you told everyone outside, your friends, your family, that you value your health, that you go to the gym, that you eat healthy. But when you're behind closed doors, when you're in your room where no one can see you, and you've got a chocolate bar in front of you, what do you do then? You might talk to your friends about business, about editing, about how hardworking you are. But when you're behind closed doors and nobody's gonna see when you don't work and you're distracted, do you open Twitter? Do you actually work? Do you actually stay focused? Do you actually stay disciplined like how you talk about it with all your friends at school? Confidence is knowing that you are the same person behind closed doors as the guy that you present yourself to the world. It's knowing that you are who you say you are. The reason I'm able to speak to you with so much conviction when I tell you that, oh, this thing in editing works, this thing doesn't. The reason I'm able to say that with so much confidence is because I know that I've gone through that journey. While other editing creators, they sound like so timid and they can't speak to you with as much conviction. When I tell you that this thing works, when this trial works, when this editing style works, when I tell you these things, it's because I've lived it. These guys, they're fucking stuttering, they're mumbling because they haven't even lived it. So I know that I am who I say I am on camera. But that day that I went to the shopping mall, the day that I felt like everyone was cold towards me, I was missing a key part of my day. I promised myself that I'd get this video done. It was for a client with over 30 million subscribers. He's paying me $1.5 £2,500. So it's 1.8k USD for a single video, and I'm not getting it done when I promised myself I would. In fact, this client gave me the project over 2 weeks ago, and I'm only starting it now. And when I think about the other things that I promised myself I'd do, I told myself that I'll record more videos like these for my boys, for you watching this right now. I promised myself that I would talk to this other big editor, someone that I wanted to get on into my product. So I have this like online community called the Editing Lair. This isn't me selling you it, this is just genuinely me explaining what happened on that day. I speak to other big editors. His name's Taryn Van Hemmer, and I wanted him to speak to the boys in the Editing Lair. So I promised myself I'd talk to him, and I hadn't booked the meeting yet. So I've got all these projects that I've promised myself I'd do, but here I was calling myself a hard-working, disciplined, motivated entrepreneur. That's how everyone in my real life knows me, but here I was being a bitch about it. Was it any wonder that I was walking around and I didn't feel confident in myself, that I'd walk around with these neurotic thoughts thinking about what other people think of me? Of course, I wasn't being who I said I was. Right now, you might be thinking that you're struggling with burnout, that you're working too long, too hard, and it's getting to your head, but I just want to question that for a second. I've been editing for over 3 years, and you can imagine, my journey wasn't easy. It's not like I woke up one day, I fucking came out of the womb as an editor making like 5, 10, 15k a month. Like, that's not how it happened. Of course, I had burnout periods as well, but looking back at them, I'm realizing it's not that I was burnt out. I was just overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is when you feel like there's so much happening, there's too many projects in your mind, and your brain just can't figure out what the next move is. You've got this project that you need to do, this client you need to respond to, this other video you were told yourself that you'd watch, this person you said you'd learn from. You've got all these things you need to do, and there's so much that your brain just freezes. Most editors say that they struggle with burnout, and you might have said the same thing. Oh, I just don't want to work that much. Oh, I keep getting distracted. It must be that I'm burnt out. Burnout is genuinely when you can't get out of bed because you would rather kill yourself than work. I've been burnt out only once in my life. Over 3 years, I've been working consistently for 3 years. I've gotten to the point where I've worked with the largest creators in the world, and I've only been burnt out properly one time. And when I tell you I couldn't get out of bed for 3 days, I would wake up, tell myself I'd work, I would drink some water, I'd go back to sleep because I wanted to die. I mean, I'd do that for 3 days straight. Even when I speak to my mentor, so sometimes I'll pay like entrepreneurs, other people that I look up to, I pay them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for just a few hours of their time, and they'll tell me about how to balance my life and stuff. And they tell me how burnout is genuinely like the most fucked experience. You'll know if you were burnt out. I promise you that burnout is so much further than you think. It's not that you just feel a little off. What you're feeling right now is more to do with fear and being overwhelmed. So the fear of not being able to complete the tasks at hand. It's you knowing that you have more potential, but you're not living up to it. And that, honestly, when you know that you could do better, that fucking hurts, bro. You probably had that experience as well, where you're on Premiere, but you've got Twitter open on another tab, and you're scrolling, you're distracting yourself, but deep down, you're scrolling, but it hurts. Like, you know you shouldn't be doing it, but you can't get off of it. And it's this weird thing where you're doing the action which takes you away from your goal, and then your brain is shouting at yourself that you're doing something stupid, and you know you're not living to your potential. You know that if you just got your head down and focused, you'd be so much further. In a year or two from now, you'd be financially free, but your dumbass brain, for some reason, it won't listen to you. So I'm gonna show you exactly the protocol that I use to get out of periods like this, because after I did this journaling practice, honestly, I've learned how to get out of these ruts where you feel like everything's going wrong, when you feel like you're burning out. This is this exact process that I've used time and time again so that I can get out of these shitty periods, and I basically recover so much faster than anyone else. So I actually want you to do this with me. I'll be honest, my videos, they're kind of slower paced, they're kind of simpler edited. I don't do much for attention and shit, so I'm telling you now, go get a pen and a piece of paper. You're gonna write these steps with me. I'm gonna go through the exact 5-step framework that I use. Go get a piece of paper and a pen now. And I know you're gonna say that, oh, I'll do it later. Let me watch the video first and then I'll do it later. You and me both know deep down you are not gonna do it later. So pause this video now, get your pen and paper. Please just trust me when I say, I'm saying this, like me saying this, there's gonna be people that click off right now. There's gonna be one dumbass that doesn't give a shit about like the actionable steps because he just wants the top 5 AI tools and he'll never make it as an editor. That's not who my videos are for. You watch my videos because you actually want to make progress, you actually want to make money editing, you want to take this far, you want to scale. Like, at least you gotta listen to what I tell you to do, bro. Come on. Like, so pause the video now, go get a piece of paper and a pen. Right, so now you have your paper and your pen. We're gonna start this protocol. So we know that your confidence comes from you knowing that you are who you say you are, and we need to understand that we are defined by our actions. It doesn't matter if someone intended to do good but then they actually just did bad. Like, people say that, oh, the intention is what matters, but sure, that can be nice to say, but if you have a murderer who killed like 10 people but he was like, oh, I didn't mean to like kill them, it's like the intention, okay, it matters, but like, it's our actions that truly define us. So we're gonna write down at the top of our paper, what do we know that we should be doing but aren't? When I'm journaling, when I'm writing things down, I like to say you. So when I'm speaking to myself, I'll say it to myself, like, what do you know you should should be doing but aren't. Once you've written that question, underline it, and we're going to do some bullet points of exactly the task that we should be doing. Is there a client that you know that you should have done the video for by now? It's been 3 days, he's given you a week, but you're for some reason waiting until the last day to finish it. If there is, then write that down as a bullet point. Minecraft client video. Okay, what else is there? Oh, there's this other client that I haven't messaged back yet. He's asking me when the video is done, but I got kind of scared to say that it was overdue, so I went offline on Discord hoping that he doesn't remember. Okay, I know I should respond to him, but that's something I'm ignoring, so I'm gonna put that onto the list. Message back this client. Perhaps you promised yourself that you'd finish a practice edit this week, that you'd finish a trial. You haven't done it yet, but you promised yourself you would. That's something that you know you should be doing, but aren't, so put that onto the list. Finish the practice edit. You promised yourself that you would make a proper portfolio instead of using some shitty Google Drive or some horrible website that is barely made properly. You know you should make a portfolio, but aren't, so put that onto the list. Create a proper portfolio. You've got all of these different things that you know you should be doing, but aren't, and the thing is, your brain is naturally going to hide these away from you. The reason you haven't done these already is because they are hard. They are tasks that take effort to do, and they cause us pain the longer that we wait to do them. And you can imagine this, right? Like, a client sends you a video and he gives you a week deadline. On the first day, it feels like nothing. On the second and third, it feels like nothing. You're not stressed. But on the fourth, you're kind of like, oh, I need to get up to working on it. By the fifth, getting more stressful. By the sixth, you're like, shit, I've got 2 days, but for some reason, you still put it off. And then the last day, that's when it gets bad. And now every second that passes, the closer you get to the deadline, the more stressed you become. The only reason we were able to survive and thrive as a species over thousands and thousands of years is because our brains adapted this pain avoidance. So when it feels the pain, it will naturally bring in new thoughts. It'll make us go on Twitter instead of dealing with the pain of missing a client deadline. So you need to spend 10-20 minutes right now genuinely thinking, uncovering those layers and finding out what is it that I know I should be doing and my brain has hidden it and is procrastinating on. Once we've got that list, we're going to go into stage 2. Next to each of the tasks, we're going to write down how long each task will take. There's going to be some tasks that take shorter or longer time. So something like messaging back to client, honestly, will take like 15-20 seconds. So you can write that as just instant. Pretty much any task that takes less than like 5-10 minutes, write it down as instant, and everything else we're going to do like a guesstimate. So we're going to guess kind of how long it might take. And there's this psychological phenomenon in human science which is called planning fallacy. What that means is, as humans, our brains are extremely bad at guessing how long a task will take. In fact, we usually underestimate it by a lot. You probably had times where you tell yourself, oh, this video will take me 4 or 5 hours, but then a week later you're up late at night, 3-4 a.m. You've been working on this for 25 hours already and you're not even halfway done. So our brains aren't very good at guessing how long things will take. So what we're going to do, if there are bigger tasks, so finish a video, we're going to break that down into smaller chunks. So it's not that you're guessing, oh, this client video will take 10 hours. Instead, we're going to break it up. So, oh, we're going to cut. The cut might take us 2-3 hours. You can guess depending on the video. And then the light effects might take us 1 hour. And then the heavy effects might take us 3 hours. And then the music might take us 2 hours. And then the sound effects might take us 1.5 hours. So we're adding a time to each step in the process, to each step in our workflow. And you want to add a little bit more than you actually think. So I recommend add 20, 30, 40% more time than you actually think it will take. So now that you have all your tasks listed out, and next to it, you should have an amount of time that each one will roughly take. We're going to go on to the next stage, which is instantly doing the instant ones first. Your brain has told yourself not to do these quick tasks, not to message back to client, not to outreach however many times to at least 5 people. Outreach you to 5 people, bro, you can do it in 10 minutes. So these things, they're pretty much instant. I want you to literally do those now. When I was doing this protocol a few weeks ago, so when I was going to a shopping mall and I felt like shit and I realized it's because I wasn't finishing that client video, I realized that I was doing so much just to not speak to this client. He was asking me when the video was due, and I would purposely like go offline so I can reply the next day, or I would kind of look at the time and be like, oh, it's 9 p.m. in the UK, and let's just go offline and hope that he thinks I'm asleep. Like, I would do all this shit, and I'm realizing, why am I running away from the problem when I'm just gonna need to face it at a later date? There is quite literally nothing but fear stopping me from doing it right now. I could DM him right now and the problem would be gone. Sure, it's uncomfortable, but the longer I wait, the worse it gets, so let's just do it now. So at this stage, once you've written how long each thing will take, do the instant ones now. Once you've got that done, the 4th step of the overwhelm protocol is putting things in order of priority. Like we said before, our brains are extremely good at coping. They're really good at finding random tasks to do when we meet something painful to do. Like, you will live in some messy ass room, your clothes will be all over your bed, your room will be messy, but the second you have a client video and it's due at 2 a.m. and it's 12 p.m. right now, that's when suddenly you need to start doing your bed, and then you're gonna start tidying your room at 2 a.m. It's like you'll sit down to do your school homework and then suddenly that's when, oh, I need to reply back to my friends, I forgot, I can't leave people on red too long. It's like you've been doing it for all this time and now you feel the need to do it. The reason we need to set the task in priority now is so that we can objectively tell our brains, no, do not start working on this random thing right now. This is the thing that we need to work on. Do not let your monkey brain take over. So create a new list. Just call it prioritize and then do a colon, underline it, and write out the list again, but in order of priority. So if you have a client video due, you should probably prioritize that over recreating your portfolio. If you have like a basic portfolio right now, that is not the priority over a client video that's due in the next few days. And it's like, don't get me wrong, portfolio is super important. It's literally your qualification to be an editor. It is important, but our focus can only be on one thing at a time. It's better for us to put all of our focus into finishing this video, and once that's done, put all of our focus into portfolio, and once that's done, put all of our focus into outreach, rather than this weird mix where we've got like 15 tabs open, like 13 Twitter accounts that we're outreaching to, Premiere's open as well, and we're also changing our portfolio at the same time. It's just a mess. Like, it's better we focus on one thing at a time. So take the time now to put the tasks in order of priority. Think about what would be needed to do first. Like, is there going to be someone that's pissed at me if I don't get this done now? If there is, you should probably put that earlier. Once you've got all of that done, we're going to go into the last and final stage of this overwhelm protocol, and it is the most important stage, so you cannot miss this out. It's implementation. Up to all this point, all we've been doing is writing on some paper, and unless we actually put it into action, we're going to wake up tomorrow in the same space but 5 times worse. Once you know the tasks that you need to do and the priority of each of them, we're going to get them done as soon as possible. And by as soon as possible, I don't mean over the next 1 or 2 weeks, I mean over the next few days. You're going to add up all the total hours that each of the tasks make. So let's say you've got the portfolio that might take you 4 hours, and then the client video that takes you 7. Like, you add up all the hours. So let's say it's 15 hours in total. You're going to create a concrete action plan over the next few days of when and what you're going to do on each day. So I've got an example of this now. Let's say your number one priority task was you had a Minecraft client that you had to get the video done for, and the first thing you needed to do, so you broke it up, was you need to get the cut done. That will take you 3 hours. So on 17th January, which is today for the time of me recording, I would say for 3 hours from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m, so with a half an hour break in between, I'm going to get the Minecraft cut done. And then let's say you have to go to school and stuff, and later in the evening, you're going to do the zooms for the Minecraft video. So we're just going to start it. We're going to do 1 or 2 hours of that. And then the next day, you're going to start doing the next task. So the Minecraft zooms, we're going to make sure that's finished, and then we're going to do the portfolio completely. So we're going to be going down this list, and then we're going to start knocking out tasks one after another. You want to be extremely specific with this implementation that you're doing. So you want to write literally what times are you doing things. Like, tell yourself that you're going to start at 5 p.m. When I come back from school at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m, I'm going to do this task. It's not that when I come back from school, I might do like some of the tasks. Like, no, you tell yourself which video are you doing, at what time, and where are you doing it, and how are you going to do that protocol. Like, you need to do these in deep work blocks. If you don't understand deep work blocks, I have another video called 3 ways to be more productive or something like that. You can scroll on my channel, you'll find the productivity video. But implementing deep work will allow you to bang out task after task. It's important that you're kind of harsh with yourself now. Give yourself tight deadlines. I know it can be uncomfortable, but I'm doing this for your benefit, bro. I'm saying that you having all these projects on your head, you being this overwhelmed, it's not good for your mental health, bro. Like, it fucks up your confidence. It fucks up how you view yourself. When you know that you should be doing this thing, when you know you should have that portfolio in place, when you know you should have done that trial project and you haven't, for me personally, it feels like I'm just not as lively. I'm not as confident in who I say I am, and you're probably similar to me. Like, imagine how much more confident you'd be when you're speaking to people, when you're talking to your friends, when you're talking to this random girl, you're meeting someone in a cafe. Imagine how much more conviction you speak with when you know that at home you have this business that you're running where you're super productive. It's not just you saying it like everyone else, but it's you actually walking the talk. This has happened for me and literally every other top 1% editor or anyone that has a business. You can talk with so much more like confidence. I can say that, yeah, I own a business. I'm 18 years old making more money than anyone else my age. I can say that I work harder than anyone else I know. I can say that I made my first 10k month at 17 years old. As a kid, I was making more money than my parents combined. And the thing is, this is gonna piss a lot of people off, me just making these statements, but that's exactly what they are. This isn't even about me having an inflated ego. This is just me making statements. Yeah, I own my own business. I make this amount. I make this much money. It's like, these are just statements at this point. So imagine how much more confidence you would have if you were able to just say those things. And it's not like anyone can take the piss out of you because you know who you are. Someone can call you broke. Someone can say that, haha, you wear black t-shirt every single day. Like, someone can say these things, but you know that you can afford whatever you want. If you wanted to buy any designer jacket, you know you could get it however you want. And don't get me wrong, it's like, this took me years to build up to. I started as a hobby editing Fortnite videos. My first ever commission was for $5 and I got scammed for half it. It was for $2.50 pretty much, my first ever video, and now I'm working for over $1,000, $1,500. I've had $2,000 commissions, and that's not per month, that's per video. And you can imagine, just look at, I'm not even gonna show like fucking screenshots of shit, you can find them if you want, but just look at my portfolio, bro. I've worked with the largest largest creators in the world. And with other editors, I've helped them get to the same spot. I have so many people that I've helped where they're saying that they're making more money and they no longer need to work a normal job because I'm just teaching them how to get there. I'm teaching them how to scale as an editor, how to balance the editing thing with their whole life to the point where they no longer need to work a normal job. They no longer need to go uni. In fact, it's actually just their hobby. Sure, they're making thousands and thousands a month. They're working harder than they've ever done, but they're actually enjoying the process. It becomes this weird thing where while everyone else around you hates this word work, they're trying to find out how they can get extra holidays. They're trying to figure out how they can stop working at this job so they can get work somewhere else. We actually love what we do. It does take time and it can be hard, and you will face these things like burnout and lack of confidence and struggling to get clients, and honestly that's just part of the journey. But I've gone through that and I've helped hundreds if not thousands of video editors go through that as well. And what you're seeing here is me inviting you to join us. That is something you'd be interested in. You can go scroll down right now, click the red subscribe button. We have a Discord as well in the description. You can join that. It's a ton of like-minded ambitious editors literally on the same path as you, bro, and I think you'd really enjoy just jumping into calls, talking to them in there, getting opinions, sharing your work, giving opinions on others' work. Like, it's an amazing way to network and get to know other guys, so you can join that below. Yeah, bro, you can watch this video here. I have a beautiful little video here. YouTube recommends you'd watch it, and yeah, take care, bro. Peace.